nangyari sa amin ngayon against TME, syempre sobrang disappointed ako kasi lumipat ako galing doon, tapos ngayon natalo kami. Siguro yung mali talaga namin doon is kaming lima hindi pa nagkakasundo, kaya ganun. Kaya lamang na lamang sa amin yung TME ngayong araw. About sa laban namin sa TNC, siguro mas pagbubutihin pa namin yung gagawin namin para pagandaan yung laban namin sa kanila kasi hindi pwede mag-start yung IPT na 0-4 sa split.
Summoners to the last match of Day 2 of the Bacchus Pro Gaming Series 2017 Summer Split. We will be your shoutcasters for the first game. I am Vulcan, and joining with me is my co-caster, Iconic. So, wow, this is it. The last match of the Day 2. What are your thoughts so far?
That was a crazy, crazy last game. The fastest game ever, this PGS Summer Split.
18 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah, they just got the Rift Herald and drove him straight to the Nexus.
I never expected something like that. I mean, when that happened, Jenski didn't have enough time to respawn, and AX on point with those plays.
Yeah, I like the decisiveness coming out from AEX. They realized that Jenski's composition lacked wave cleared. They needed to scale, and they just ended the game.
They just ended the game for them.
Okay, guys, we want to go home already. Bye.
So guys, there you have it. That was the short recap of the second match, but on to the schedule to see the last match as follows: IPT versus TNC.
Yeah, this is an interesting matchup because earlier today we saw the Dark JLC. Remember like how C9 lost Meteos and then he went to FlyQuest and then he started becoming a better player. I think it's somewhat evident today as well. JLC doing such a great job. Also, in relation to that IPT versus TME yesterday, you saw like the difference in play styles. So IPT want to bring home the 2-0 today.
Yes, and right now TME stands on top of everyone else as the owner of IPT said Suzaku never winning a game when there is JLC on the other side. So with the recent changes, I gotta say TME, it looks pretty solid this summer split.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the best performing teams so far.
But one thing you have to take note as well, TNC, this will be their first two games of the split. And they have a lot of this is a new TNC. Raze is gone. We have Endless Ace stepping in. We have High stepping in. It's going to be super interesting because we don't know what they're going to bring to the table. We don't know what to expect. Endless Ace, he plays any champion in any role you expect. Even Shinbu said, expect the top lane Soraka. Endless Ace and I were talking a while ago, and he said, Iconic, I might bring out the Soraka this game. So we have a lot of things that we should look forward to.
The fan favorite, the one and only Endless Ace, who is known to go anywhere in the lane. That's why he's being placed sub. So to move on to the last match of the day, IPT, one of the titans in the PGS, facing off TNC, who just recently joined. They were this close, TNC, in making up to the playoffs, but Jenski denied them of that time slot. So now, will TNC make up for this in the summer split? We'll see how the match will play out.
Exactly. So, I don't know. What are your thoughts so far for this matchup?
A lot of... I can't say because the IPT we know is that in the top lane was JLC, but now it's Suzaku. Judging from the game I saw from TME versus IPT, JLC still stands as one of the really aggressive top laners. Not to mention how he split pushes and the pressure, but Suzaku also knows how to play around his team. So new roster changes for TNC and IPT. It's really a new. It's like I'm seeing a new team being reborn.
Yeah, so it's very interesting because like I heard that Endless Ace will be stepping in for top lane this game.
Ooh.
So we'll see one of the most flexible players in professional history versus one of the most mechanically skilled top laners since Suzaku hit the Rift.
Yeah, and to the viewers out there, note that we are still on the match and win promo for the first 2 days of the PGS. So stay tuned for that. You know the mechanics. If you do not know, we will reveal a code. You guess the missing number or letter in that code, and you win yourself a free Imperial skin that is worth 250 RP. So now, on to the drafting phase. Pretty exciting to see how IPT Really, they were so close in representing the Philippines in the GPL. And now facing off against TNC, who had a threat in the spring split, but will it be the same, knowing that it's going to be a change in roster? But I gotta say, it's gonna be more of a threat because of Endless Ace.
Yeah, and as you can see here, this is a double flex coming out from TNC. We can see Karma mid, we can see Karma support, Lucian top, mid, and ADC. So yeah, so it's obviously confirmed that Karma's going support and Lucian is gonna go AD carry. And so no mind games with TNC, just fast picking everything.
They know what they want, so why not go for it? So this is more of a playstyle where we're seeing the decisiveness, and not to mention how IPT will play it out. They did prioritize the Galio, as to other players did say in some teams. Galio right now, as you said, Iconic, has the 100% pick rate or ban rate?
Yeah.
In a way that...
No, Zach has the 100%.
Zach,
yeah.
sorry about that.
But Galio is really high up in priority here. I think Galio is actually very comparable to mid lane Echo because they do fill in the same role of fast pushing the wave all the time and then roaming. So I find it interesting that IPT get both Galio and Echo.
Wow.
So that means that their top lane and mid lane will always have priority over their counterparts. And then you can just expect a lot of roaming coming out from IPT together with Colette. While for TNC side, again, very unorthodox top lane. You have a Gnar going in against the Galio. So matchup wise, you can expect the Gnar to actually win the first few levels. Suzaku's gonna have a really hard time. Depending on how he starts, if he goes for the Doran Shield, Corrupting Potion, or Doran String, it will dictate how the laning phase will actually go.
I'm pretty excited to see how Endless Ace will perform for TNC this time, entering the game for the first time in the summer split. And now looking at the matchup, who are you leaning more on, Iconic?
I honestly think that IPT can take this game because they have stronger laning phases, and on paper, if you look at it, they have the better individual skills as well. Like Light is one of the best mid laners in PGS. Suzaku also one of the best top laners in PGS. Endless Ace, he isn't exactly in the top 3 in my personal opinion, but he can hold his own. And I don't know about Haze because Haze versus Light, we haven't seen this matchup before, and it's gonna be pretty interesting.
So we'll be loading up to the left pretty shortly, but to add to Iconic what he said, I gotta agree. The fact that you point out the Echo and the Galio used together in a way that Galio fills in the same role as Echo, but you also pick up an Echo. We're going to be expecting that IPT is going to make this really aggressive playstyle, not to mention the roaming potential. I mean, knowing Suzaku, I think he has some similar playstyle towards DLC, judging from the game we saw in day 1, but you know, it's all up to the level 1s and the junglers.
Yeah, and I'm also interested because they have a lot of, you know how they always have the run Galios, they always see the Galio activator. So like back then it used to be the LeBlanc clone, things like that. It's going to be interesting how IPT will use the Kha'Zix and the Echo.
So guys, we'll be loading up to the left for the last match, but here is our featured matchup. This is it, the last match of the Bacchus Pro Gaming Series 2017 Summer Split. Drive your energy as we go onto the Rift. IPT on the blue side against TNC on the red side.
Yeah, so it looks very interesting. We'll see how both teams actually start. We have the lines of scrimmage just being set by both teams. Nothing too cheesy here. No cheesy invades. Because actually, if you look at the compositions, both of their level 1s are actually really bad for invading.
I mean, yeah, I gotta agree with you on that, but why risk level 1s? The fun fact about level 1s is that it's fun in a way that you get that really early lead, but in a way, it really ruins how you lane in a way that you use all your resources.
Yeah, but one thing you can take note of is the Kha'Zix is disincentivized from actually going to the Raptor start because there is a enemy karma on the other side. So this karma can actually just mantra inner flame the Raptors and steal a ton of experience from Colette. But we will still see whether or not the Ortos actually opts to try and steal the Raptors away from Colette.
When it comes to Kulit on that Kazakhs, it's pretty scary knowing that the Rek'Sai does have the same, not the same mechanic, but the same pressure it wants to offer in a way that's map awareness, but leave it to Kulit on the Kazakhs to gank first and secure the pressure.
That's interesting though that you can see that Hai and Ortos didn't offer something cheesy or even Hate and Shadow. Even though they weren't going to leash, they didn't rush towards getting brush control. So you can see very standard level 1s. Probably whoever races to level 2 will get a good trade, but nothing too big. So as you can see, Hate and Shadow already getting bot lane priority, which probably means that they will hit level 2 first. And will probably make Hai and Ortos be on the back foot of this matchup for the rest of the for the next few minutes of the game.
Looking at the rotations from the junglers, as you said, Rek'Sai against the Kazakhs. Who has a better clear?
Actually, both of them have pretty similar clears. It just depends on how Burst chooses to itemize. Because like back then, Rek'Sai would get the Tiamat to just power farm really quick, and then rush to level 6 to use that ultimate to make cross map plays.
But when it comes to the when you said about the map clear, the jungle camp clear for the Rek'Sai, but when does the Rek'Sai fall off against the Kazakhs?
The thing with Rek'Sai over Kazakhs is that Rek'Sai has these gank paths that are very unorthodox compared to a Kazakhs, because the Kazakhs is very linear. He has to go through the lane or go through brushes, and then he has to expend this jump unless CC is used.
Now we're seeing it right here in action. Burst goes in for the knockup onto Hate, forcing out his heal. Maybe want to get the flash in. He is still holding on to the flash. Here comes the teleport from the top lane. Suzaku, however, changes his mind. Still wants to refund that cooldown just a bit.
Yeah, but had he committed, he would have probably gotten more out of the TNC bottom lane and jungler, but he would have lost a lot of pressure in the top lane, so he just chooses to cancel it instead. It was a bad idea to even channel it in the first place. Just disincentivizing TNC from continuing the dive.
From that gank itself, it just goes to show that the Rek'Sai does have the unorthodox path, as you said, Iconic. But look at this, a second rotation in, Hayes though camouflaging away. Burst really paying a heavy toll price for his life, but is it wise? I know that the Rek'Sai does have the passive to regenerate the health, but is it enough for the Rek'Sai to keep ganking like that?
I just find it interesting that the Rek'Sai is choosing to prioritize bottom lane, even though his mid laner has no priority whatsoever. You can see Light just keeps shoving the wave in, and Hayes is having a really hard time dealing with it.
But when it comes to Kulit, he is trying to match the rotations, but more on he's going in for the farm route in a way to deny some resources. But looking at from how Burst is aiming for 2 long swords, wow,
yeah,
he's going for the kill.
Probably rushing towards that Tiamat, like you said. Tiamat rush coming out from a Rek'Sai really opens up the map for him because of how fast he clears.
Oh, an ignite onto life when giving a first blood onto Hayes. Whoa, Iconic, I see you. I saw your face. How did you feel about that?
That was surprising because usually what happens when you run the Echo mid is you usually recall 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Usually before you hit level 5 or when you hit level 5, you already recall because you want to back and get your items already. Usually double amp tome or hextech revolver. As you can see, he already did that, but he could have done that without giving up a free kill onto Hayes.
And Light really was aiming for a kill, goes onto Burst. One more stack, that's a lot of damage coming in from Light, forcing out the flash from Burst. Now Light's left alone. He might go for a sneaky play, but not yet level 6. Here comes the pincer attack from Orthros. Instead goes for the Cloud Drake. All planned.
Yeah, again, they didn't have TP priority again because Suzaku did use it in the bottom lane. So a lot of proactive play from TNC. Their bot lane was first to rotate as well. Again, with this bottom lane, it's a 50-50 on who actually has priority. But I think it was just Light could have done it better, where he would have recalled first and then teleported back into lane for some kill pressure onto Haze. Also, him burning that flash costed him a double kill.
Very painful, and we're seeing more of an itemization and sustain for the Syndra on the Haze, whereas Light is taking the opportunity to really go for that early proto belt.
Yeah, because he's not opting for the double or triple Dorans you usually see with Echoes in the mid lane, because that's one to just keep pushing the wave in. He wants to get some early pressure onto Haze, and Haze also feels the pinch, so he opts for the Sorcerer Boots and another Doran's Ring.
So we did see some brawl in the top lane. Endless Ace did not manage to land the stun, but more of a fear factor for Suzaku. But I gotta say, for Burst on the jungler with the Rex side, the TMN has been completed, so expect more frequency in ganks.
Yeah, exactly. And aside from that, as you can see, Colette hasn't affected the map as much as Burst will, and Burst is probably eyeing this mid lane or this bottom lane. He does know that the bottom lane of IPT recalled, so he is going to probably look for mid response to mid.
3-man gang onto the mid lane to give Light a head start. Really want him to snowball. Burst a bit late to the party, will be trying to defend this this mid lane turret with the helpful Arthros. Suzaku gets tethered. He does justice punch towards Burst and lands the parallel convergence for Light with a kill for Colette.
Wow, that was really ballsy from Suzaku. Knowing his limits, still goes in with the heroic punch, takes turret aggro but survives because he gets out just in time. Very coordinated coming from IPT. Maybe they're just shaky from, yesterday's games. Just dusting off the cobwebs.
The TME game that IPT lost to the 2-0. They want to show their sister team that, hey, we're facing TNC, we're going to catch up to you, baby. So, who will it be in this split to really advance? But IPT showing they're not yet out of the game.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just really weird to see that the Gnar going in, you don't really expect. The thing is, there's a lot of hard engage coming out from IPT, right? A lot of hard engage and counter engage, but it's really hard with a Gnar because he's very situational.
Wow, look at the coordination. Suzaku manages to land another thought with his flash, giving Light his second kill. This is IPT right now, making the game plays, knowing who to prioritize, who to pick off. They know that Haze is no match for Light, but Light did give up the first blood towards Haze. But that's not the end game now. They know that he has the snowball.
Yeah, and they are punishing Haze for opting for this ignite. Sure, Haze got the ignite to get the first blood onto Light, but this ignite really limits your mobility as a mid laner. That's why they keep capping him. Haze has no flash, you get 3-man gank, and then you get 3-man ganked again, and then you lose your first turret.
Wala galit sila eh. When you go ignite, galit talaga yung mid laner ng IPT eh. Si Light talaga galit. So yeah, going to clash in the bottom lanes though, a very close call for Hate. But I gotta add something on that. Haze did pick up the ignite, yes, but that's more of a rub it in your face in a way, don't you think? I mean, you do get the ignite in the mid lane, but to what extent? That's it. Light has to teleport and an echo.
Exactly, and this is what usually happens when you pick your mid laner so early into the rotation. When they chose the Cinder really early, it was the third pickup coming out from TNC, and Echo is a good hard counter against the Syndra, and you choosing Ignite, sure it got him a kill, but right now it's just biting him in the butt because of how much pressure Light, Colette, and Suzaku have on the Haze.
With the turret down, that's the first turret for the game. Now Colette has this huge space to go all over the map to match the rotations coming from Burst because mid lane's open, Light is free to farm, and he can go anywhere he wants.
Yeah, and especially since it's a Syndra, something very similar to an Orianna, you need to get farm. But when you lose your tier 1, your outer turret that early into the game, there's no space because right now your jungle is very open for your enemy to get vision control, and picks can happen. One thing that IPT does have with their composition, with their 3 solo champions, is that they can establish really strong picks.
Here it comes Burst, coming in for a gank. Misses by a long shot. Paying the price with the spray coming from Hate teleport. from Suzaku just made it in time. Always with the light coming in from the mid lane. Landing this power convergence did not land, but the flip stack the passive. Oh, the Chrono Break will be his lifeline.
Yeah, so close to dying right there. Gets rooted, can't cast the Chrono Break, but still gets it off. And Light
Close
burns
call.
burns most summoners from the TNC bottom lane. But Haze does get a little bit more breathing room in the mid lane.
Really close call for Light though. He was tethered towards the ground, and you know that when you're tethered you can't Chrono Break, but at least he did not give any kills.
Yeah, exactly. So as you can see right now, we have a lot of pressure on the side lanes because Haze lost this mid. Haze lost the outer turret so early into the game, and like we said, top lane has priority because it's a Galio, and then mid lane has priority because it's an Echo. That's also one of the reasons why Haze has two deaths already. It's because his top laner and his top laner doesn't have priority, so he will always be late to the fights.
Late to the fight is something you don't want on an Echo. So right now we're gonna be seeing, yes, a gank. Maybe from Burst. He is looking for the right time. Bullet though, I wonder if he's spotted in. Gives Endless Ace a signal to go back. So bit of a shame. I wanted some brawl in the top lane.
Yeah, but they did spot out Colette because there was a minion really far ahead. So but I don't know. It looks like Colette still wants to go for something, but Burst is hanging around doing his Krugs.
Yeah, the Cloud Drake is still alive. I mean, you don't want to really invest too much on a Cloud Drake, knowing that it does not offer too much, but in the top lane, Endless Ace forced out of his flash, so also Light offering some extra pressure in the jungle side. Right now, Burst, I don't think he has any control of his red side. Just give it up.
Yeah, and as you can see, this is what we've been talking
no,
about, the mid lane
Burst.
priority.
The convergence will not connect with her stun, but he did manage to burn his flash. Here comes the teleport. Endless Ace to the scene. He is not yet in Meganar form, or his ultimate is on cooldown. Suzaku might go for a third time, but it would be Light charging in, and he does get a kill, resetting the fight with his Chrono Break. There is the flash stun connecting again onto Burst. The Burst damage, and the turret is down. No more safeguard for TNC. Light is just wrecking it in the top lane, getting a double kill.
Really well executed fight coming out from IPT. They know that that Endless Ace doesn't have his ultimate. They knew that they had that fight because they also had their own summoners. And again, it's just snowballing out of control right now for IPT. They're so far ahead that you can just expect when Light goes to base after getting mid lane priority, he'll probably be working towards his Lich Bane already. If not his Lich Bane, his 20% CDR item. So this is really scary for TNC, considering the fact that Endless Ace isn't itemizing defensively as well. Again, going for that Black Cleaver.
He does have the Black Cleaver, not yet completed, but when he does pick it up, it's going to be really beneficial for him. But looking at this KDA, 1-0-0, it's not too bad, but it's the fact that Light has so much freedom. I mean, look at that, Blasting One and Amplifying Tome. You will expect he's gonna go all out.
Yeah, that would also be the makings of a Rabadon death cap, just so that he can burst everyone down. But again, one of the reasons why Nor isn't a top tier pick right now is because it's too expensive for him to become relevant. You need your Black Cleaver, you need your Frozen Mallet, and then you build defensively. It's the same reason why the Jarvan pick didn't work for Canon the first game. It's because he was way too squishy when the fight started happening. He was irrelevant.
So now with the Rift Herald, up for grabs. No pressure coming in from the mid lane of TNC. Haze forced to play the submissive game. Let's see, Light is behind the CS, but that's because he's roaming around a lot, offering pressure. But TNC spots them in the Rift Herald pit. Endless Ace might offer a play, bit too risky, backs away.
Yeah, that's expected to have a your mid lane be that behind, especially when you're a melee into range matchup. But what's interesting is that they're both equal in EXP and gold value as well.
Oh, pretty close call for TNC, backing away after the Cloud Drake. Suzaku makes his slow approach, and now TNC, they know they can't get anything in. They're trying to go back, but the damage coming from Hate is really burning their health.
Exactly, Hate flashing in, best flash PH everyone. So goes in, tries to get the kill, but then doesn't get anything again. what is up with today and everyone's flashes where they overestimate their capabilities?
So now with the mid lane under siege against IPT. Oh boy, here comes the Rift Herald. Will we see the same thing we saw with AX? I have high expectations coming from IPT. Suzaku goes in for tower dive with tower taunting the two members of TNC. Here comes the tower convergence. Not gonna land too much, a bit too slow. Suzaku gets taken down. The Rift Herald will be taken down. That is a shame, but they did get the turret.
Yeah, so that was still good. It was crazy how tanky Suzaku was, staying alive when the turret and 5 enemy champions were bashing his head in with their abilities. He was still able to stay alive for so long and tank so much damage, and they were able to secure the mid lane inner turret of TNC.
Whew, that Rift Herald really take its sweet time, but props to TNC for blocking that approach, taking down Suzaku first. He did make the really courageous move of tanking all of the damage, the turret, the 5 members of TNC's. So that's gonna be a reckless gameplay from Suzaku, but I guess it's worth it.
Yeah, and as we've seen so far, pretty even bottom lane. The story of this game has been the mid lane. Light and Haze. That's
Temptation strikes hate, and he just goes at it. Did not see that support. Pays a heavy price, and there's the inner flame, not finishing off with Kolit sweeping that bottom lane.
Wow, double kill going in for Colette.
Temptation is always good.
Yeah, so I don't know if that was a calculated decision coming out from it, but it does work out in the end. Burst and Endless Ace can't kill Suzaku. He's just way too tanky right now. Especially considering the fact that Black Cleaver still isn't completed.
Wow, very expensive build path.
Exactly, so Suzaku is gonna have an easy time.
Suzaku is not even flinching from that, and now the bot lane Mano turret will be taken down by IPT. 4 turrets under the belt for IPT, whereas TNC has 0 turrets. But they do have a consolation, Cloud Drake.
Yeah, 4,400 gold lead right now for IPT. Most of the gold is on Light, the rest of the gold is on Colette, and then Suzaku afterwards. As you can see, everyone is ahead of their counterpart. Even the support. The supports are quite similar, but as you can see, Light is 1,000 gold ahead of his counterpart, while Colette is ahead by 1,500. It's just crazy how the jungler and mid laner of IPT outshine their counterpart.
I mean, 6,500 for Colette. Compare that to Burst, which is only 5,900. I mean, that's a huge difference. But it's the fact that TNC played a dangerous game. They camped Light. By camping Light, you're saying that, okay, I got the first blood onto Light. That's good. But you have to expect that IPT will respond to this. So that, wait, Light is a bit behind. Let's help him really snowball. A bit of an overkill with 2 times. I mean, 2 times that Haze got taken down by a 3-man gang.
Yeah, and again, it all boils down to summoner choice. Opting for that Ignite just makes it so hard for you to actually do a lot of things.
Oh no, Kolit decided to go in with the victory. Not gonna be happening for him with Suzaku entering the battlefield a bit too late. Kolit's not there anymore with Haze. The only damage here left, that's going to be a sandwich for IPT, overcommitting on the red side of TNC. They fight back strong. Endless Ace is there with a Mega Gnar, smashing them against the wall.
Yeah, TNC 5-man stacking against the 4 people of IPT. And again, note that most of the gold, majority of the gold is in the jungle, on the jungler and the mid laner, so they need to be present for that fight. Light wasn't there, so that was really bad for IPT. But as you can see, Light teleports, stops the Baron.
Teleports right to a stun. He does curl back towards the bottom lane. That's what I love about teleport on an echo.
Yeah, and as you can see, he's still knocking on the doors of TNC.
Wow, not giving up just yet, forcing out his flash. Man, 4 seconds and pop that curl go back to the bot lane.
So as you can see right here, even though Suzaku lands a 4-man taunt, it's too late because Hate doesn't have any damage. He's not exactly that far ahead, and TNC just collapsed onto the 4 people of IPT. Haze did so much damage that fight as well. He was able to get rid of Colette with his unleashed power, and Colette doesn't have his Hex Drinker to actually mitigate that damage, so he's actually a more vulnerable target than Hate right now.
Very painful indeed. And right now, with a score of 87, 21 minutes into the game, the next Drake is the Mountain Drake. I hope that TNC, from that lead they had, I mean 4 members down on the red side, burning the Teleport of Light, that's very rewarding. This gives them a really good chance to fight back.
Yes, but I like what TNC has been doing so far. They realized that hey, we should group, we should actually force 5v4s, and that's what they did. And they're now collapsing. They collapsed onto IPT. Hopefully, that fight, that four-man kill for them was able to bring them back to the game when they will fight over this dragon. But do note that a lot of summoners are down right now for TNC.
Oh boy, here it comes. The Mountain Drake is live, and so is everyone. TNC. Really, putting some control wards in. Wards are key, but in terms of ward advantage, they have a lot, but they don't have Suzaku.
Yeah, but this is the time.
Oh, that would be just a Mega Nart onto one member. That's not very worth. Hate is trying to reposition for a good spot. There is the redemption going up, down, not hitting much members. That goes in for the flag with the hero's entrance for the damage reduction. And we see Endless Ace, not anymore Mega Nart, he does not have an ultimate, and now Orthos is very low. Hate is also low, but he has the backline, dealing the damage onto Burst, but Haze is there with a Cinder, and Light goes in with a Protocol. Burst goes back with a Chrono Break, and a Flash Burn by Shadow. Will he get away? I don't think not. Haze gets a double kill with Light still sticking it towards 2 members of TNC. Colette doesn't want anymore. He goes back with his lead, forcing also Hate using his flash.
Man, that's crazy. IPT getting a little antsy there. They knew that Endless Ace was still Mega Nart, but then they were already dancing around the dragon. They should have just waited for Endless Ace to go back to Mini Nart and then start the fight. The Mega Nart ultimate actually did so much work against that fight, and net loss, they take a look at this. As you can see, they go in already. The Mega Nart was already used, and then Suzaku, even though he lands damage, there's just nothing they can do because the backline, the Lucian and the Syndra are still alive. And then when the moment Light goes in, sure he gets the kill onto Orthos, but then Orthos is useless because he's the support. Both carries are still alive for TNC.
Oh boy, that spells trouble. That's why they were able to get a double kill.
So all in all, both teams just lose their top lane. They lose their support and another member, which is their tanks. So it's pretty even, but they do get the outer mid lane turret of IPT. So TNC is slowly coming back into this game.
And now they have the Mountain Drake. IPT has no Drake so far. With the gold really evening out slowly but surely, but with the turret score of 4-1. They have to catch up. I mean, they have the Mountain Drake now. They can use it. They can use that to push the turrets. That's what they need right now.
Yeah, but this is one of the reasons why IPT can win, is if they establish a really good fight. Do take note that Suzaku's ultimate didn't hit anyone that fight, because they have a lot of activators for his ult, with Colette going in, with Light going in, but they have to hit it as well. And
yes,
the counter engage, they also have to play around the ultimate coming out from Endless Ace. Make sure that they don't get knocked into the wall and stunned and chain CC'd.
And they also have that Lulu by Shadow, so something about a plan B or a panic button for IPT if things go really bad. They do have the extra knockup and CC, plus the polymorph to control that Syndra.
But one problem that has been happening is Shadow has been using that ultimate onto Suzaku instead of the key targets like Light or Colette. Because again, Light and Colette are the activators for this composition. They need to be there and up in TNC's face to distract them, have the wild growth on, have the ultimate coming out from Suzaku while hit free hits from the backline. So what you can actually expect is a 3-2 formation coming out from IPT. That is their most ideal way to fight. While TNC, it's more of a scattered fight where they have 2-3 as well. 2-3 instead. It's actually like the polar opposite of what IPT have, because they want Endless Ace to be in front, they want Burst to be in front, while High and Haze are DPSing from the behind and Orthos shielding them. So it's really interesting how they'll play these fights in the future with head-on 5v5s.
when it comes to head on 5v5s, IPT would have a good start, but when it goes extended, I think TNC has a better, thanks to that Gnar. I mean, as you said, it's a very expensive build. Black Cleaver and First Man, it's already completed. Is that enough for Endless Ace to be back into the game?
Yeah, the question right now is, can Endless Ace tank up some more? Because if he can provide a solid frontline for TNC, IPT will have a hard time breaking him down. Because remember, they are very burst centric. They need the Kha'Zix to be able to burst. They need the Echo to be able to burst. They don't have a lot of sustained damage except for Hate, and Hate doesn't have percentage HP damage. So even Endless Ace, doesn't have that much problems with the IPT composition. It's just that if IPT plays around the Mega Gnar timer, that's when the opportune moment for IPT, and that's the time to strike.
Time is of the essence for IPT. 26 minutes. Man, this game is pretty extending so far in favor of TNC. I mean, they're late getting calm, but also for IPT for that Twitch. But the fact is that, and leave it to Endless Ace to be that disruptor on that Mega Gnar. He will just bypass all of the front line, maybe just bounce off Suzaku's head and just go straight towards Hade. And now IPT has to pick their fights correctly. Don't fight where there is a wall.
Yeah, exactly. And fight around the Mega Gnar timer. That's one of the reasons why Gnar as well isn't one top tier pick. It's because it's very evident when he's scary and when he's not. So the moment you see that bar be close to 100, you just run away, wait for him to burn it, and then you have a window of 20 to 25 seconds depending on how long his fatigue is.
So I think Endless Ace needs some anger management lessons from someone, but to add to that, I mean, TNC is still stalling pretty well, while IPT, they don't want to wait too long with a score of not too far behind. The goal lead is steadily not going to matter so much at this point of the game. It all comes down to how you perform in a clash.
And one thing to take note of with IPT is their siege sucks really, really hard. You have a Twitch. A Twitch is one of the worst AD carries to actually siege with because of his animation. When the moment he attacks a turret, his animation is locked there and he can just get punished. The lack of mobility coming out from the Twitch. And then you have 3 melee champions, and then you have a Lulu. So again, the composition for IPT. They have to look for these fights, or they have to out-rotate TNC to be able to take turrets. So the question now is, how are they going to deal? Because there is a slow push for IPT in the bottom lane and the slow push for TNC in the top lane. So even though they're dancing around the middle, as you can see, IPT's top lane is more important right now because Baron is an objective. So what we might see in the future in the next few minutes is there could be a trade-off where IPT will give up Baron for the bot lane inhibitor.
Here comes Endless Ace, slowly stacking up his Fury bar. It's yellow right now, Signal to fall back, but still Suzaku goes in with a flash, and Mega Gnar is there. Endless Ace goes in for the push and the knockup. There's not too much. Suzaku is just so tanky, and Light is doing so much damage, and we can see Hate trying to go in for sticking some basic attacks, but Light still has that Chrono Break.
Yeah, and that's most of the wave clear gone for TNC. So another option as well, aside from relying on a pick or out rotation, is just forcing it and running it down mid. Forcing TNC to fight you outside of their turret, and then getting 2 kills and their inhibitor. Again, mistake coming out from TNC. They could have played it smarter. They could have held on a little bit longer because that top lane is looking scary. That was a big wave, but now the opportunity has disappeared.
And now the opportunity for them to get the Mountain Drake is here. That would be a very crucial Drake for them, knowing that they don't have that proper wave clear, but they will have that really strong pushing power.
Yeah, so then double Mountain Drake for both sides. So we will see, because now that makes Baron so much more interesting as a objective for both sides. And we have to take note now that as you look at this fight, the TNC is outside of their turret. Why are they there? Why is Haze there so far up in the middle? Remember how we talked about formations? Haze is supposed to be in the back line together with high-end Ortos, but he's so far ahead that the the formation became a 2-1-2 instead. And the thing is, with the Echo, with the Galio, they will be able to penetrate the middle area of your formation. So he's just getting caught out right now.
What a shame for TNC. They did have the advantage for their terrain, but they did not use it properly. Here it comes, Light going in for a burst, trying to burst out burst with the Rexy, but he's still tanky. Has the strength of the courage of the Colossus.
Yeah, so again, a reset. As you can see, what we can expect right now is we see Suzaku in the bottom lane, right? He will set up a slow push in the bottom lane, then rotate towards the mid lane, where his entire enemy team, his other 4 teammates will rotate the top lane. It's going to be a very standard split push kind of, but instead you want Suzaku to be in the mid lane so that you can force a fight around that TNC inner turret. But it seems that they just want to fight for Baron control instead.
Baron control is something you want. I mean, if someone takes the Baron here at this point of the game, that's pretty much game set. But if it's IPT taking it, game over because the inhibitor is gone and now they have full access to the mid lane. But for TNC, they still have to take down those inner inhibitor turrets.
But
so,
as you can see right now, Endless Ace is locked up in the bottom lane, which gives Suzaku a few seconds window to actually start something. There we go, that's what we were talking about initially, where you rotate most of IPT towards the top lane and then you have Suzaku in the mid lane. One of the strengths of having a Galio is that you can run a 4-1 where the Galio can rotate to wherever your 4 are easily. He's like a Twisted Fate or a Pantheon, but with more utility because he's a tank and he's...
better.
Period.
He's the better Pantheon.
Yeah, he's the better Pantheon that doesn't kill people.
Okay, here it comes. Burst knocks off Hane. Hane is very low. He does get the wall gun onto him. Some health regeneration. Endless Ace trying to go in for the flank. Here comes the redemption. Yellow ball right now for Endless Ace. Suzaku tanking 4-member damage. Here comes the hero's entrance to fend up the members of TNC. But Suzaku gets caught by TNC. But in the bottom lane, IPT Light will keep pushing that until the inhibitor. That's what they wanted, and that's the game that they played.
Yeah, so that was a smart macro rotation coming out from IPT. They knew that Suzaku didn't have his teleport, so they chose him to be part of the 4 while Light would be the one split pushing because he still had his teleport up.
Should they go for a Baron? So risky. I'm glad they disengaged, but this gives TNC the opportunity to go for a Baron.
Yeah, but this is scary because mid lane and bottom lane are pushing into TNC and TNC will be forced to make a choice. Should they defend or should they go and contest this Baron?
Oh man, either way, if they give the Baron to IPT, it's pretty much game over, and they are willing to bet it all in. We can see that Light did pop his Zonius, does reset with a Chrono Break, does not manage to get any kill, but for TNC, they get a really good shutdown.
Yeah, but you have to take note that this mid lane inhibitor will respawn in around 30 to 40 seconds. This is going to be a very hairy situation, if you will, because TNC, when their mid lane inhibitor is up, they just have to send Endless Ace to the bottom lane and then they have teleport advantage. Suzaku also has his teleport, Light as well. So right now it's going to be interesting how IPT chooses to divide themselves. They could go for a 1-3-1, they could go for another 1-4 again. But the thing is, you can't allow your 4 to get caught. What happened earlier, Suzaku got caught, Suzaku died. Even though he's so tanky, he still got caught out by TNC, and you are not tanky against 5 members, as we learned when he dove the mid lane inner turret.
So as the saying goes, you're not a one-man army, Suzaku. So you have to respect the damage coming in from TNC. I mean, okay, let's say you do have the damage reduction from the W. But
yeah,
I don't think that's enough. You may reduce the damage coming in from a significant burst from Haze, but from High, I don't think you will last even long. I mean, you can build 400 armor, but still not last even a whole minute or whole 30 seconds against 5 members of TNC.
Exactly, and as you can see right here, they opt to do the same thing all over again. Light has to be the one while Suzaku is part of the 4. And again, this is very interesting because top lane, whoever that gets top lane priority, gets that slow push in, will be able to dictate how the enemy team moves. So you can see right now that the top lane is pretty even. I would expect it to be pushing in favor of TNC towards IPT. Haze is there just to make sure that it does. And then, as you can see, a lot of fighting for vision control. So, Light just keep on applying pressure onto the bottom lane. I am confused though because Elder Drake is an option as well for both teams. And if we consider that if we add that to the equation, IPT has priority over Dragon. So this is really scary for TNC. They might have to defend two objectives at once because this is double teleport. This is a double teleport coming out from IPT.
Or a triple teleport because that is the Galio.
Yeah, exactly. So again, TNC have to play this very smart to be able to do.
Oh.
And there goes the redemption, a very important cooldown by the way, because they can't afford to face check at this late into the game.
Speaking of teleportation and response time, IPT has that up their sleeves, but for TNC, it's really hard. I mean, the pressure is really getting to them. With the Elder Drake life right now, same as the Baron, they have to decide what is more important.
It looks like though that they are looking to start the Baron because they did see probably Hate and Shadow back off, and they
Light
do
has
have
teleport.
vision control over Baron.
Yeah, that's going down pretty quickly. 4,000 health down, 3,800. That would be a Baron in the hands of who? TNC takes the Baron with high in the charge. Back in the line with the Baron pin. Suzaku so much damage. Light, however, goes in for the backline. Parallel convergence, stunt burst, and now High's left alone to fend off Gullit. Gullit's not letting him escape, but the blast gun will grant him that life.
Hayes moving too far right, away from his teammates, gets isolated damage from Gullit. Together with Light collapsing onto him, doesn't stand the chance, doesn't even get the chance to dish out his damage. And it was just a really, really hard fight for TNC because they were trapped in the Baron pit.
They tried to take the Baron, they have succeeded, but will their base last that long? The death towers are pretty heavy, and the inhibitor will be respawning soon. This may give extra seconds to TNC, something they need. They will need all the time they need, but IPT will not allow that.
So as you can see, they will lose 2 inhibitors for this, and IPT not biting off more than they can chew, not being greedy. They're backing off immediately and probably might look towards the Dragon as well. So as you can see in this fight, sure they secured the Baron, but as you can see, Haze is so far out in the right that he gets isolated damage by Kulit together with Light as well. Actually, Light even didn't do anything. It was just all Kulit picking off Haze. Light lands the stun and Endless Ace. Again, one of the problems with Gnar, you need your Mega Gnar. If you don't have your Mega Gnar, you don't have as much effect as compared to a Galio. So it's just the choices right now, the micro decisions coming out from TNC that are making them lose these fights.
Oh man, the Elder Drake is up for grabs. Suzaku again doing what he loves to do. Be that solid wall and taunt 3 members of TNC. Haze, however, fights back against Colin. And we can see Endless Ace pushing the ADC towards the wall, but it would be High picking up a kill. And now Suzaku is left alone with 5 members still shredding him off. Haze picks up an easy kill, and now with the Baron in the hands of TNC, now they want the Elder Drake.
Wow, that fight was really messy. They got the kill onto Colin first, and then Endless Ace with the ultimate onto Hate stuns him, CC chains him, and Hate didn't even get the chance to move. And then they kill Suzaku after, and then it's just Elder Drake from there.
What an intense fight, nearing 40 minutes. The Elder Drake in the hands of TNC, same as the Baron.
So as you can see from the start of the fight, Colette gets bursted down even through his Maw. Hate then gets bursted through the culling plus the Mega Gnar ultimate, and then Suzaku uses his ultimate, but it's too late because there's no more carries. So the formation coming out from IPT, remember 3-2 view, they always want to fight in 3-2 formation, but you can't have a 3-2 formation, especially if Colette's already dead and Hate gets caught out. So IPT will lack damage because Light cannot deal as much sustained damage as compared to an AD carry like Hate.
With the help of the aspect of the Dragon, TNC just melted that turret down, and now IPT might be the receiving end of the punishment they've received. So let's break it down. What did TNC do so far. Right now the itemization looks pretty solid, and now we are seeing the turn of tables for IPT. Endless Ace is the one pressuring in the bottom lane.
Colette almost dying to Haze right there.
Yeah.
Just 2 balls, the slow and the stun, and then the ultimate, and then he almost dies. Breaks through the maw a little bit more, and then probably can one-shot Colette. So Colette needs to be wary, needs to look towards that needs that Guardian Angel already. As you can see, the Goldie has already swung as well for TNC, in favor of TNC. And this late into the game, the gold doesn't matter that much anymore because it's more relevant on how much damage you can dish out without dying. So we will see. But to take note, Endless Ace is already in Mega Gnar. So the moment he evolves into Mini Gnar, this could be when IPT will strike.
Very patient. They are waiting for the right time. Also for TNC, they do not want to make that mistake of going all in and get the full taste of Hate's Twitch. So we'll be seeing them backing away, but Endless Ace trying to offer some utility in a team fight.
Yeah, and as you can see right now, Endless Ace has so much HP, especially with that Gargoyle Stone Plate. When he's in Mega Gnar, his HP will probably exceed 4,500 because you get more bonus HP the more enemies are within the vicinity. So Endless Ace is probably going to be unkillable. Also for Suzaku as well because he also has that Gargoyle Stone Plate. So it's a question of who can burst down whose tank fast enough.
Oh man, or who will be the tank who will set that winning clash? Suzaku
Exactly.
can do the game-changing taunt, whereas Endless Ace can just push and ram members against the wall, offering a huge stun and giving Haze such an easy time.
Yeah, but you have to take note as well that one of the advantages that Syndra has over Echo, is that she can deal more sustained DPS than an Echo. But Echo is more slippery, is better at assassinating people, so it's kind of trade-off. Like TNC Haze has more damage, but Light has more mobility and survivability. So it's also a question of which mid laner can survive and dish out the most damage.
Not anyone is giving up for this last match. You can see the tenacity from TNC fighting back strong against IPT. They still have a solid chance, but for IPT, they really try to end the game as soon as they can or close it in a way that TNC cannot scale up. But when you're looking at the timer, 43 minutes into the game, TNC has done what they wanted to do.
Yeah, but we are approaching the point where everyone's maxed out in terms of items, and this might be we might be looking towards the next last fight. Like the last fight for the entire game.
Yeah, when you die right here, right now, then your death timer will be a minute.
Yeah, and then that's gonna be the go signal for the enemy team to take the game away from you.
Man, this is looking pretty good for TNC. The inhibitor respawn. They can now freely contest objectives without really worrying about pressure from Light.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when it's this point in time, you have to take a look at the slow pushes as well. There's a slow push and for IPT in the bottom lane. So TNC technically is on a timer. When the moment this wave reaches the inhibitor, that's a free inhibitor for IPT.
Yikes! TNC starting the barrel. Let's see how it turns out. Suzaku dealing so much damage, lands a 4-man stun, and there's the redemption for the heal. But we're seeing Light going for the Endless Ace. Is that the right choice, Light? We can see that Hane dealing so much damage with his Twitch, but first is trying to intercept him. Hane makes it away. He still has the free hit range, but we can see that High goes in for a dive. He does manage to get a kill. He has Guardian Angel. Back away, Suzaku. You are taken down by Burst.
Wow, High, so aggressive, dashes into 3 enemies, still survives with that Guardian Angel, and then wins the fight for TNC. As you can see, if we get a replay, you can see that High was the MVP for that fight, going in, dealing the most amount of damage. Haze wasn't even a factor there because he was already killed by Haze.
Light trying to salvage or trying to assassinate someone in the Baron pit, but with the hands. The TNC having the Baron. This looks pretty solid for TNC fighting back strong, but IPT still has a great chance
So
to
and
fight
you see
back.
in the replay, even though Suzaku lands a 4-man taunt, there is no DPS because Hate isn't there yet. Hate came from mid lane. And so Suzaku already chunked. Hate gets Haze, but keep your eyes on to High. He keeps damaging everyone. He flashes in, dashes in onto Suzaku, gets Shadow, and then Hate afterwards. Sure, he gets bursted down by Suzaku, Hate, and Colette, but he still has that Guardian Angel. Light has been a non-factor this entire fight because he keeps going for Endless Ace instead of the rest of the members of TNC.
Suzaku was going for Arthros with the dash punch, but High just respawned just in time to block it.
Yeah, Endless Ace zoning out Light from the fight. So technically that fight, there were no mid laners.
There's a fight breaking out with the Baron in the hands of TNC. Light goes in onto Haze. Here comes the Hero's Entrance, bursting out Haze with Colette really trying to clean up the fight. Arthros trying to shield first from damage. Haze though still has that huge damage. Endless Ace goes in for a dive with a Mega Gnar farm. Members are very low, but High will be taken down by Light, this time knowing who to assassinate. What a cleanup from Light. He has taken out 4 members of TNC with the help of Suzaku blinking red. So guys, everyone, I think this is the conclusion of the 47-minute game. TNC didn't want to give up yet, but I don't think Endless Ace is still trying to defend this base, but the death timers are huge right now.
Yeah, 15 seconds until Haze actually spawns again. But Endless Ace doing his best to stop the siege coming up from IPT. But still, 8 seconds until Haze comes up. Really close fight coming out from both teams actually. And IPT winning with the sliver.
What a long game.
HP.
Kudos to TNC for really showing the tenacity they displayed in this last match of the first game. Wow.
Yeah.
They really had a solid chance. They got 2 Barons.
Yeah, but that last fight, even though Endless Ace was there in the backline and had the chain CC onto IPT's backline, there was no follow-up damage. He's still a tank. He still has just his Black Cleaver. He couldn't DPS as much as he wanted to.
So here are the in-game stats between Imperium Pro Team versus TNC Pro Team. Looking at the KDA, pretty solid for Light. Really a good KDA, but for Haze, he did struggle in the mid lane because IPT did focus. But when the game got extended, really, everyone was almost on equal footing. It was more on how you start a team clash.
Exactly. And as you can see right there, Haze with a crazy big gold lead. And then the damage coming out, he even dealt more damage than Light that game. But the thing is, when you have a tanky jungler like Rek'Sai, and he doesn't do much when he's in the front line zoning people out. You still need the damage coming out from your AD carry, but High got caught in the last fight, and it was just IPT's fight to win. There was no damage there, even though Endless Ace was there in the backline, chain CCing the enemies. There was no damage.
No damage, but I think the damage has been dealt to TNC. They did have a bad start, but also making up for the late game. But IPT still closes this game for game 1, securing their victory. Guys, there you have it. That was the first game of the last match of Day 2 of the Bacchus Pro Gaming Series 2017 Summer Split. We have been the Shotcasters. I am Vulcan, and joining with me is my co-caster, Iconic. We will be back for the last game after the short break. To your left, that's going to be a sandwich for IPT overcommitting on the red side of TNC. They fight back strong. Endless Ace is there with a Mega Gnar, smashing them against the wall. And we're ultimate, and now Orphan is very low. Hate is also low, but he has the backline, dealing the damage onto Burst. But Ace is there with a Sigger, and Light goes in with a Protocol. Burst goes back with a Photo Break and a Flash Burn by Shadow. Will he get away? I don't think not. Haze gets a double kill with Light still sticking it towards 2 members of TNC. Colette doesn't want anymore. He goes back with his little fallback, but still Suzaku goes in with a flash, and Mega Gnar is there. Endless Ace goes in for the push and the knockup. There's not too much Suzaku. He's just so tiny, and Light is doing so much damage. And we can see Hate trying to go in for sneaking some basic attacks, but Light still has him. some health regeneration. Endless Ace trying to go in for a flash. Here comes the redemption. Yellow ball right now for Endless Ace. Wusuzako attacking 4-member damage. Here comes the hero's entrance to fend up the members of TNC, but Suzaku gets caught by TNC, but in the bottom lane, IPT has the pull. TNC takes the Baron with high in the charge, back in the line with the Baron play. Suzaku is so much damage. Light, however, goes in for the back line. Parallel convergence, stuns first, and now High's left alone to fend off Gullit. Gullit's not letting him escape, but the blast gun will grant him that line. On the wall and taunt 3 members of TNC. Hayes, however, fights back against Gullit, and you can see Endless Ace pushing the ADC towards the wall, but it would be High picking up a kill, and now Suzaku is left alone with 5 members still shredding him off. Let's counters that Suzaku dealing so much damage, lands a 4-man stun, and there's the redemption for the heal. But we're seeing Light going for an Endless Ace. Is that the right choice, Light? We can see that Hayes dealing so much damage with his flinch, but first is trying to intercept him. Hayes makes it away. He still has the free hit range, but we can see that High goes in for a dive. He does manage to get a kill. He has Guardian Angel. Back away, Suzaku. You are taken down by Curse. TNC Light goes in onto Hayes. Here comes the hero's entrance. Bursting out Hayes with Gullit. Really trying to clear the fight. Orthros trying to shield first from damage. Hayes though still has that huge damage. Endless Ace goes in for a dive with a Mega Dark Bomb. Members are very low, but High will be taken down by Light. This time, knowing who to assassinate.
But Endless Ace doing his best to stop the siege coming out from IPT. But still, 8 seconds until Hayes comes up. Really close fight coming out from both teams actually. And IPT winning with the sliver.
What a long game. Kudos to TNC for really